Making headlines, Maldivian government warmly welcomes the announcement of the decision of Elections Commission to begin preparations for the presidential elections to be held this year. Maldivian government underscores that it has never rejected any proposal for dialogue to be facilitated through the auspices of the UN in connection with the ongoing political developments. And Maldivian government reiterates its firm commitment to work closely with the international community, including India, to address the concerns they might have.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome you all to PSM News in English. I'm Ghouta Hassan here with the news in details. The government of Maldives warmly welcomes the announcement of the decision of Elections Commission to begin preparations for the presidential elections to be held this year.
In a statement issued, the government of Maldives took note of the announcement Elections Commissions to hold the first round of presidential elections during early September and encouraged all relevant stakeholders to offer the Commission full and unreserved support. It was noted in the statement that free, fair and credible elections are the foundation of the country's democracy and that it is essential for the continuity of the nation's growth, stability and prosperity. The government also extended its invitation to all international stakeholders to observe the electoral process and at the same time urged the international community to provide support and assistance in bringing back normalcy in the Maldives and requests the international community to refrain from any action that could hinder resolving the situation the country is facing. In the statement, the Maldivian government reiterated its commitment to provide a free and stable environment to carry out campaigns which will lead up to the presidential elections and reaffirmed hope that all relevant stakeholders extends support to the endeavour. It was underscored in the statement that all elections after the ratification of the Constitution were expected to be fair and free by all parties and that the government recommends all political parties and politicians alike to work towards making the upcoming presidential elections free and fair rather than engage in a battle to topple the government and to destabilize the nation.
The government of Maldives underscores that it has never rejected any proposal for dialogue to be facilitated through the auspices of the United Nations in connection with ongoing political developments in the Maldives, contrary to media reports.
Noting that it was President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Qayyum who in June 2015 requested the United Nations Secretary General to assist with all-party talks, a statement issued by Ministry of Foreign Affairs stated that several rounds of negotiations took place with the assistance of the Secretary General's envoy in 2015 and 2016. The statement added that talks did not yield progress due to the lack of cooperation and commitment from the opposition parties, adding that the government of Maldives still has remained committed to all-party talks and has kept the United Nations fully engaged with the hope of resuming the talks at an early opportunity. On February 8, 2018, the government decided to reconvene all-party talks and has issued invitations to engage in dialogue with the government. On February 11, 2018, the government further renewed its invitations for dialogue, calling all political parties for constructive dialogue in the view of the current political situation in the country.
The government of Maldives reiterates its firm commitment to work closely with the international community, including India, to address the concerns that might have.
The government of India asserted the extension of state of emergency by the Parliament of Maldives is unconstitutional. Responding to the public statements issued by the government of India that ignore the facts and ground realities with regard to the ongoing political developments in the Maldives, Ministry of Foreign Affairs said the statements are a clear distortion of facts which ignore the constitution and laws of the Maldives. On February 5th, President Yamin declared the state of emergency under the powers vested in him in Article 253 of the Constitution, pertaining to a constitutional crisis and an imminent threat to national security upon the advice of the National Security Council. The Supreme Court had cleared the validity of the emergency in its ruling on February 21st. In its decision to extend the state of emergency on February 20th, the Parliament provided relief by lifting some of the restrictions imposed on constitutional articles under the state of emergency and by imposing the state of emergency only upon individuals alleged to have carried out illegal activities and in the places they stayed. The Parliament also in its sitting decided to refer the issue to the Supreme Court for advisory opinion under Article 95 of the Constitution, pertaining to which the Supreme Court has issued an order to implement the state of emergency till the court issues a verdict on the issue. Other than implementing the necessary measures stated in the decree imposing the state of emergency, it ensures no other restrictions on the daily lives of the people and provides protection to the citizens living in the Maldives, to foreign workers and to those visiting the country. The statement of the Foreign Ministry highlighted that there is no doubt that the Maldives is experiencing one of the most difficult periods in the history of the nation, noting that it is therefore important that friends and partners in the international community, including India, refrain from any actions that could hinder resolving the situation facing the country.
Minister of Health Abdullah Nazim Ibrahim states President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Gayoom has shown the traits of a true leader by emerging victorious in handling the current political situation in Maldives with his strategic approach. Speaking on the dialogue program aired on PSM News, Minister Nazim highlighted the true essence of success of any country is connected to the success of the youth, as they are regarded as the future of the nation.
Speaking on the dialogue program aired on PSM News, Minister of Health Abdullah Nazim Ibrahim stated, all politicians and individual has the right to express their ideology regarding a policy implemented by the administration, but emphasized that no individual has the right to alter the principles of the government, such as independence and religion. In this regard, Health Minister Abdullah Nazim noted the biggest responsibility of upholding these principles is bestowed by the Constitution on the President of the nation. The Maldivian Health Minister cited that President Yamin shown traits of a true leader by emerging victorious in handling the current political situation in Maldives with his strategic approach. On this note, Minister Nazim said Maldivian economy would experience some negative impacts from this situation created by the opposition, but President Yamin has always kept nation and its people at the highest regard and assured that administration would stabilize the situation in the nation. Continuing on, Minister Nazim stated the administration works for the betterment of the people and said that President Yamin came with a vision to bring a permanent solution to the difficulties faced by all individuals while attaining services. Maldivian Health Minister noted that President Yamin has ventured into new horizons which were never imagined by any other previous administrations. In this regard, Minister Nazim highlighted the development of 25-story Dharmavanta Hospital, expansion of Velana International Airport and 16,000 housing units. Minister Nazim concluded by calling the Maldivian youth to bring forth nationalism before any political aspect, as such a perspective would bring a development to the nation. The dialogue is an initiative by the Ministry of Economic Development and Public Service Media PSM, which brings forth prominent personalities and provides the Maldivian youth to interact and question them.
The government of Maldives establishes National Patient Safety and Infection Control Committee.
The National Patient Safety and Infection Control Committee was inaugurated by Minister of Health Abdullah Nazim Ibrahim. The committee, comprising of relevant stakeholders and an individual representing the citizens, aimed to discuss and examine the challenges faced in healthcare services and to protect the rights of people on a national level. According to the Ministry of Health, in reference to the health standards published, The committee will work to establish regulations and monitor whether the rules are followed. Health Ministry said the committee will review the services from patients and formulate ways to enhance them. Addressing the function after inaugurating the committee, Minister Nazim said there are no major development needed in the health sector other than assessing and enhancing the services.
The government of Maldives launches Maldives healthcare quality standards to ensure safe and better services for patients.
The Maldives healthcare quality standards was launched by Minister of Health Abdullah Nazim Ibrahim. Addressing the ceremony, Health Minister said once the standards are established, it will monitor the implementation of certain standards. The Health Minister noted the launching of Maldives healthcare quality standards is an important step towards providing high standard and best quality of care to all citizens. Speaking at the function, a representative of a World Health Organization (WHO) to Maldives, Dr. Arvind Mathur said the quality of healthcare must be given utmost importance, noting that quality needs to be developed and maintained in every healthcare facility. The WHO representative reiterated the commitment of the organization to facilitate the highest quality technical expertise to the Maldivian Health Ministry. Islamic Development Bank and WHO are assisting the Health Ministry in formulating the Maldives healthcare quality standards. Maldives also established a National Patient Safety Committee to ensure the rights of patients.
Ministry of Finance and Treasury initiates an engagement with Stolen Asset Recovery Initiative STAR to return embezzled state funds and ill-gotten gains through graft amid corruption by state officials that are laundered abroad.
On behalf of the Government of Maldives, the Ministry of Finance and Treasury initiated an engagement with Stolen Asset Recovery Initiative STAR, jointly conducted by the World Bank Group and the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, to return embezzled state funds and ill-gotten gains through graft and corruption by state officials that are laundered abroad. A statement released by Finance Ministry noted that government is committed to identify and recover state assets through corruption and return it to the rightful recipients of these funds, who are the citizens of the Maldives, and established the State Asset Recovery Commission. By January 2018, State Asset Recovery Commission has been able to ascertain that $1.4 billion has been stolen or misused from the state. A statement issued by the Finance Ministry noted that the government is committed to strengthen the legal framework to hinder the theft and laundering of assets, as well as strengthen the state capacity to investigate and recover assets. The ministry said the government hopes to strengthen dialogue with the international community through the initiative. The STAR initiative by World Bank and UNODC is aimed at assisting state asset recovery by acting as a facilitator in international cooperation to enable a timely return of stolen assets. STAR provides platforms for dialogue and collaboration and facilitates contact among different jurisdictions involved in asset recovery. Furthermore, STAR assists countries in developing legal frameworks, institutional expertise, and the skills necessary to trace and return stolen assets.
Corporate Maldives successfully concludes the most exclusive invite-only businesses networking event in the Maldives. The Gold 100 Gala was hosted at Banos, Maldives, and was attended by over 150 top-level executives from the leading companies of the Maldives and VIP guests. The Gold 100 awards were presented to the Gold 100 companies by special VIP guests of the gala, Chief Guest Minister of Gender and Families Zanisha Shahid Zaki. The second issue of the Corporate Maldives Gold 100 magazine, launched by Chief Guest Zanisha Shahid Zaki and Chief Executive Officer of Maldives Getaways, Hussein Sani Umar. The magazine contains the listing of the leading businesses in the Maldives, the Gold 100 categorized by industry and with company profiles and other up-to-date information. Corporate Maldives Gold 100 were selected from approximately 10,000 companies listed in the Maldives as a special appreciation for companies and the vigilant leaders for being forerunners of the respective industries. Additionally, Corporate Maldives awarded 6 individual excellence awards during the gala. In this regard, Bank of Maldives (BML) was presented with Individual Excellence Award. Investment in Communities Maldives Transport and Contracting Company (MTCC) was presented with Operational Excellence for the year 2017. National Communications Company Diragu was presented with Individual Excellence Award Marketing Campaign for the year 2017. State Trading Organization STO was presented with Individual Excellence Award CSR Campaign of the year 2017. AS Marine Maldives was presented with Innovator of the year 2017, and Fuel Supplies Maldives FSM was presented with Logistic Company of the year 2017. Corporate Maldives Lifetime Achievement Award winners were also announced during the event. This year, the Lifetime Achievement Awards were presented to two entrepreneurs, Mohammad Wahiddin and Ahmad Nazir, for pioneering the development of the tourism and hospitality industry of the Maldives. Bank of Maldives is the platinum partner of Gold 100 Gala. Diragu, MTCC, STO, M7 Print, AS Marine Maldives and FSM are the gold partners of this event. Gold 100 Gala 2018 was supported by Ministry of Finance and Treasury, Maldives Monetary Authority MMA, Privatization and Corporatization Board and Capital Market Development Authority CMDA. Media partners of Gold 100 include Public Service Media PSM, Sun Media and Ours Online. War plans pounded the last rebel enclave near Syria's capital for a fifth day running as the United Nations Security Council considered demanding a 30-day ceasefire across the country to allow emergency aid deliveries and medical evacuations.
According to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights War Monitor, at least 403 people have been killed in eastern Ghouta district since Sunday night, with more than 2,116 wounded from the assault by Syria's military and its allies. President Bashar al-Assad's main ally Russia, which wields a veto on the Security Council, said it could support a 30-day truce, but not one that included the IS militants it says the onslaught on eastern Ghouta is meant to target.
What we need is a sustained cessation of hostilities, and we need it desperately. A cessation of violence that will enable the immediate, safe, unimpeded and sustained delivery of humanitarian aid and services, the evacuation of the critically sick and wounded, and an alleviation of the suffering of the Syrian people. Mr. President, you can still save lives in eastern Ghouta and elsewhere in Syria. I urge you to do so. Millions of battered and beleaguered children, women and men depend on meaningful action by this Council.
The Council was considering a resolution drafted by Kuwait and Sweden that demands a cessation of hostilities throughout Syria for all military operations except those directed at the IS militants, Al-Qaeda and Al-Nusra Front for 30 days to allow aid deliveries and medical evacuations. But Russian Ambassador Vasily Nebenzia said he would propose amendments to the text for it to be realistic. Deputy U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Kelly Currie accused Russia of appearing to be intent on blocking any meaningful effort to halt the bloodshed in eastern Ghouta.
The United States is ready to vote on this resolution right here and right now. All of us should be ready. Sweden and Kuwait have consulted everyone on this text. They have done their part. There is no reason to delay. Literally, the minute this meeting ends, this Council can take the clearest possible step to help. Vote for a ceasefire and vote for humanitarian access.
A resolution needs 9 votes in favor and no vetoes by Russia, China, the United States, France or Britain to pass.
A police officer dies in the northern Spanish city of Bilbao in clashes with Spartak Moscow fans ahead of a Europa League soccer game against Athletic Bilbao.
The police officer died in hospital, where he had been taken following a heart attack when the regional Basque Country Police Force, Ertzaintza, was trying to stop street battles between supporters of the two teams. At least 5 people were arrested. Spartak won the second leg of the round of 32 tie 2-1 but were knocked out of Europe's second-tier club competition 4-3 on aggregate after losing the first leg 3-1 in Moscow. Russia hosts the World Cup this year and local authorities are putting strict security procedures in place to control hooligans, including Russian fans who caused trouble at the 2016 European Championship in France and other soccer events.
With that, we conclude the news for this bulletin. Thanks for joining us and have a pleasant day ahead. Bye-bye.